Hey everybody, it's Chris Chico, and today I have a great case study video with a client, Koshrel, who has successfully done his first deal. And I brought him here because I always think it's an inspiration for you guys to listen to a story of somebody who went through the trial and errors and tribute, all the pain and suffering that you have to go through in order to get your first deal. And so I asked him if he can come on and share his story. And so I just want to say thank you, Koshrel, for coming on and really agreeing to
Absolutely.
share your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So now, just to kind of set the backstage. So I know that you and I got involved. You got involved with one of our programs before that, though. However, had how long is it? How long was it that you were trying to do real estate? Like, what happened before that?
So it was like around August of last year. So I have a friend, Andre. He actually signed up for your course, but he never took your course because he's just so busy. He does flipping within like the actual local market.
Okay, got
I'll
it.
say within the tri-state. That's New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Yes.
He was like, listen, he said, if I could start everything all over again, I wouldn't even start at flipping. He said, I would do wholesaling. And I kind of heard of wholesaling, when you pull up YouTube and see people, great side hustles, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. So he said, this guy is like the king of wholesaling, a virtual wholesaling. He's like, he doesn't do any cold calling. He does Facebook ads, and he gets people that's the way he gets his motivated sellers. I was like, okay, I'll try it out. So he's like, listen, I'm gonna give you my email address, password type of stuff. And I'm like, wow, I kind of breezed through all the actually I shouldn't say breeze through. I probably took like a week
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get just the first generic part of your explanation of what wholesaling is.
Mm-hmm.
Then the thing that did take me a little bit longer because I used to do this like while I was at work.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But I'll say like with like a week of like with maybe a week and a half, I had everything up and running, and I was doing national, but I did a small budget at that time. I think I was doing like maybe $10 a day or something
Got
like
it.
that. I was taking action, but not like really really taking action. Then there was this really good deal that came my way, and like I wasn't as like motivated. Like I really wasn't like I didn't have all the tools and didn't know how to kind of navigate through it. It was a deal in I think it was in Connecticut. It came through my way. The seller wanted 116,000 for the house.
Mm-hmm.
He after like 2 weeks he ended up selling to like another investor for like maybe 130, and
Oh.
and and the deal came to me at 116. He was ready to go.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you
Yeah,
lost
so
that
I'm like,
deal.
I definitely lost that deal. I said I cannot let stuff like this go. I said I really got to take this wholesaling thing serious. I got money saved up. I said, you know what? Let me try my hand in this wholesaling. I actually put my 2 weeks notice in at my job.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Then after that, when I signed up for the course, I ended up catching COVID. So I was like,
Oh.
I was a little out of action for a little
Yeah.
bit. I spoke with my job. They're like, listen, we don't want you giving us COVID, so you just stay home. We'll pay you the rest of like your 2 weeks and your vacation time. I was like, perfect. Let me just
Kind of
kind
reboot
of get
and everything else.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And then once I did that, I linked up with you guys, and I was like, you know what? I said, let me do this serious because I said, I know Chris. He offers the intensive program
Right.
where it's actually you're not just you're not playing around with wholesaling. You're not trying to you just jump right into the water. So I said, you know what? Let me try it. I said, I gotta try this.
So, question, because I had, like you had the course, and the
Mhm.
course, this is, you had a nationwide wholesaling course and using Facebook
Mhm.
ads, and that has everything. So you could have done it, and you had the ads up and running, but it sounds like
Yeah.
you felt like you needed some extra help because you let this deal fall through your cracks. You didn't want another one to go through, or what was the reasoning for?
Absolutely. I said this could have probably been like I could have probably did like a nice little return on this if I properly
Yeah.
you know stayed focused, made callbacks, got the contract ready, all this type of stuff. And that's one thing I liked about the intensive course. You guys really say, okay, this is the next step. This is what you're gonna do. All right, you got them on the phone. Get that
Yeah.
contract ready. It's like, what do you call it again? Oh, I know you have. It's like do as you go
Oh,
learning,
just in time learning.
just in time learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how I did it.
And then now,
Um,
so the
yeah.
question that I had for you is, so just for give everybody's context, so we have this program where if you want more personalized help, then we will send all the leads. So we send you leads, and as the leads come in, we help you analyze the deals and figure out the pricing and coach you along with that and kind of every step of the way. You went through a lot of leads initially, right? Without, because eventually you got a deal. I think you had before you got the deal for 27, the one you made 27K. You had another one with us that was almost there, but it kind of fell through. Did you or no?
Yeah, I did. It was one in Wisconsin. It was actually it was funny. It was the guy was a contractor. He was ready to pack it up and move to Tennessee.
Right.
The home was currently being it was currently being rented by a tenant. The house was like, let's say, 80% fully renovated. I got the seller to a pretty good price. Talking to him, he just had to do some paperwork on his side in regards to the title. Then all of a sudden, he just ghosted me.
Got it. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of hurt. It was one
Yeah.
of those things, and I know especially Gene, like he kind of like, listen, this is things like this happen, but you
Right.
got to bounce back. You can't just you know. That's why you have all these. That's why you have the lead funnel. You have other people that you can get to and make things happen.
So now this deal, the deal that you did finally get done, where was it located? The one for 27?
Yeah, this was so this was in Banning, California. This is Riverside County. This is right next to LA County.
Got it.
So this is kind of within that Southern California area.
Yeah.
That's a really hot market.
Got it. Okay.
And I'm telling you, once I got that one in deal, like, I spoke to the seller. I built some pretty good rapport with him. He really wasn't sure on price. It was so funny. He was like, I guess I'll take 200 for it. That's what he was saying. I was like, and I asked him, I said, where'd you come up with that number, if you don't mind me asking? Is that something maybe a realtor friend told you? Or he's like, I just got it off Zillow. So I was
Mm.
like, okay. And then I said, so I threw out a number there from, of course, because when you're in the intensive program, you learn comps, you learn how to see
Right.
what's what. Cause I came at him with a 175.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like okay. He said we can do 175. He was confident with that. He just had to speak to his wife first, of
Got
course,
it.
because it was a pretty big decision for him. Because they were ready to pack up and move down to Indiana with his daughter.
Got it. Okay. And then now, so you
Yeah.
got it for 175 on the
hmm
contract. What do you remember what you felt at that time? What you felt that the end value of the property was?
I felt the end value was probably like close to about, I think it was like 280,
Got it.
290-ish.
Okay.
We could actually, you know what, a little higher. Actually around 300, maybe 305, because this was one, Chris, I don't know if you remember the the seller, he had he did an add-on to his
I do
property.
remember that one. Yeah, we discussed it
Yeah.
on one of the calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. On the deed it was originally a 2-1, but he converted it to a
I
3-1.
remember that. Yeah. So what was the end result of that? Was that like did the buyers care at all?
Buyer was like, this happens all the time.
Yeah, and remember we talked about that. We're like, is that a
Yeah.
problem? Not a problem? And then it's
Yeah,
like
absolutely,
you
absolutely,
put on the
yeah.
contract, and the buyer will tell you if it's a problem. Sometimes they don't care. In
Yeah.
this case, he didn't care,
Yeah,
right?
I was so scared. I was scared at that point. I was like, man, this might not go through. He's gonna say, oh, I don't know about the permits. I'm not sure. Let me tell you, Chris, I moved this deal so quickly in terms of like finding a buyer.
Yeah.
It was because with the intensive program, once you get a deal under contract, you contact somebody from Chris's team, let them know of the area. They'll provide you with a whole buyers list.
Yes.
I would say my eighth phone call, buyer was like, okay, can you text me the actual address? I was like, sure, I'll tell you. And then boom, 10 minutes later, he's like, just send me the assignment of contracts, send it to me. This is my LLC, this is my email. I like it. The numbers work. I signed it for 202.
Got it. 202, so 175. You know what's interesting? And just kind of being devil's advocate, I always think this way.
I
Because
know what you're
because
thinking.
he said so fast, you're like, oh crap! I sold it for too low. Did you? Did you? Oh, it just happened to be the right price.
You know what, Chris? I think like now going forward, I might play it like this. I might play it with my buyers that I'm gonna let them know that I'm accepting some offers. I'm listening to multiple offers, and by a certain deadline, I'll come back with an answer if I'm interested in their offer that they
Yeah.
offered to me. because that same day, another buyer that I left a message for, he contacted me and was like, "Hey, listen, I'm interested in this deal. Let me do this deal right now."
Yeah.
The
But you already
same
said
day.
yes to the other guy, so you
I
gotta
already
keep your
said
word. Yeah.
yes, and I don't want my name to be mud out there,
Yeah.
so I said, and he's like, and the other seller, excuse me, the other buyer was like, listen, I will double the money down, whatever,
Yeah.
and he was making it real tempting, so I
Yeah,
said
it's
no.
it's tough. I mean, I always recommend, if you say yes to somebody and you say, "Hey, look, we have a deal," and you got 24 hours to put the deposit. If somebody else comes in and offers you more money, it's just tough to do because keeping your word, right? Now, if the other guy
That's right.
doesn't put the deposit, now you get an exit, right? You can say, "Well,
Oh,
you didn't put up your
absolutely.
money, so now it's fair game." But I'm in agreement with you. And then now, just for clarity's sake, you're located in Long Island, so you have never.
Yes.
This is
This is literally. So those who don't know where Long Island is, this is New York State. So
yeah,
I'm part of the greater New York area. So I'm in New York doing a virtual deal all the way across country in California.
yeah, and you've never done anything in that area ever, right?
Never.
Never, right?
I just just
Yeah.
just pick up your phone and call and just see what happens.
Now, one of the things I always talk about is like no matter how great a course or system or anything is, nothing ever takes the place of repetition, right? And again, this is not about. I just want to clarify this for people. This is not about the program. I'm talking here specifically about for any of you, regardless of whatever you're doing. Repetition is a big thing that most people don't pay attention to. And we've had people in the program that have come in and spent years. We quickly figure out that I don't think this person has ever spoken with a property owner ever, right? How you are with a seller on day one, and if day 30 you have spoken with 50 of them, you're going to be better, right? On the phone with them and everything else. How confident do you feel now about being able to talk to sellers and communicating with them? And obviously, there's always nuances, but do you feel that now the repetition really has made the difference?
Repetition makes a difference. Another scary thing I shouldn't say scary, but I felt uncomfortable. You know when you feel like, oh man, I'm about to make an offer to somebody. I don't know if it's like the right offer,
Yes. Yeah.
but it was something it was something you told me, Chris. You said the right offer is when you feel it in your stomach, like you're like, ugh, this is a real
Yeah.
bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the offer you want to
Yeah.
say.
If you're not
Trust me.
embarrassed about your offer, then it's not. It's too.
Yeah,
Yeah. It.
yeah, because because obviously it's harder to negotiate down than it is to negotiate up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also too, I think it's how you phrase it, right? Meaning that
absolutely.
if you structure the conversation correctly, even if you make them a low offer, they're not going to chew your ear out. They're not going to yell at you. But at least it's an anchor that then allows you to figure out what is the best price that they can do, right?
Right.
Um,
And also too, I know this might sound weird, but I do hope that everyone gets that one phone call where they actually do get cursed out because that will conquer your fears at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when we started working together, you had hit that point where you're like the point of no return, and we have somebody right now similar in the program where, like, they're at that point where now they got to call the sellers and make the offers, and they're scared. Like but that's the point that now like they have never been there before. But I think the kudos that I would give to you is that I think that you went through a lot of leads, right? Because
Yeah, I
obviously
did. I
you're
did.
you're you're trying to learn the scripts and trying to go through everything, and you persevered because I think what happens is that a lot of times people give up because it's a little bit overwhelming with the number of leads you were handling, right? Because you were getting backed up, but you were able to manage the lead flow, and I
Yeah.
think that that's. But I just want to say that a big kudos to you because you stuck it out, even though in the beginning, you were going through a lot of leads and not getting anywhere.
Right, and also too, a very important thing that Gene also taught me too. Gene, that's somebody who works with Chris Chico's team. That's why I'm mentioning his name. He helps out tremendously, and also to Anissa as well too. We definitely got to give
Oh
them a
yeah,
shout out too.
100% props
Absolutely,
to Anissa and Jean on their help with just
absolutely,
everything that we do as a team to try to help, right?
absolutely. It's just about just not about just you don't just call one time and just say, oh, they didn't pick up. Oh man, that's it. No, you got to make some calls just to kind of not badgering the person, but you want to just show them that you're really interested. Like me, I'll start out with a text message, see if they respond. I ask them when's the best time to give them a call. If they don't reply to the text message in a couple minutes, I might just give them a phone call right there.
Right.
Then maybe throughout the day, I might give them another phone call, and then leave a nice voicemail. If it's something, I also recommend also sending them an email as well
Yeah.
too, because everybody's not saying, okay, I need to sell my house, I need to sell my house, because they're at work, they're handling other issues. I had a one seller. I think like they're ready to go to jail almost.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They were
yeah,
going to
yeah.
jail a year.
Yeah, so like, selling their house is not their first thing in their
Yeah.
head. Like, let me speak to this investor. So,
Yeah, and
so
we talked about this just for everybody's sake. So, we wake up every day, and priority number one is we need to find someone to sell us a house, right? And you're talking with a seller, but that day, for whatever reason, their priority may not be that. Their priority may not be selling their house. Their priority is, oh, they got a sick parent. Oh, they're going to go to jail in a couple of days. They're trying to figure stuff out. They're whatever their situation is. And then what happens is that you got to follow up with people continuously because today might not be the day that they're ready to talk to you tomorrow, but you catch them on Friday, and finally the life has maybe the chaos in their life has gone down just enough for them to have a conversation with you, and that's when you are able to have a breakthrough with them, right?
right,
Um,
exactly.
I had a question
Exactly.
for you. So let's taking aside and again for everybody's sake. So what Coach Shrell, what the way he got his deal is using Facebook ads for motivated sellers. He got his first deal doing that, and then targeting the entire country. So leads are coming in from everywhere. Now, I want to talk a little bit about mindset, right? If you take away the tactical stuff, right? Take away the Facebook and all the training. Now, where you are today versus when you first started, is there any sort of like significant the way you look at things now different that maybe that you didn't look at things before that maybe if somebody's here trying to get their first deal that I don't know something that you would be able to share in terms of mindset that would maybe help them?
Yeah, it's the importance of repetition.
Mm.
Just, and also not giving up, because sometimes you may have this really sweet deal, and the seller, he's talking to you, he's ready to sign, and then another wholesaler calls him up,
Yeah,
gives him a little bit more money, and then boom,
you're
poof, your
gone.
deal's
Yeah,
gone. Your deal's gone, but you can't let that get you down. You gotta be persistent. Um, Especially when you get your first deal. Like, for me, I'm like, wow, I'm like, oh, this is real. This is
yeah,
this is really real. Yeah,
yeah.
this is real. This is
Because I think with repetition is repetition on talking with sellers. So having many conversations with sellers, analyzing many properties, right? So,
yes, absolutely.
after you analyze 50, 70 deals and you're talking to 70 sellers and you made 70 offers, you're going to be much better person, investor, right? Equipped to handle whatever comes your way, no matter what course. Like you could take training on how to talk to sellers and you go to sleep every night listening to that, but nothing ever takes the place of you like actually having a seller tell you that you're crazy and you're out of your mind, right? Because of the
Yeah,
offer that you made them,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can show you text messages of where it's like, are you crazy? I hate you're currently being blocked at this point. I'm just send you this last message.
Yeah.
I don't take it to heart. I just,
I always kid around. I said the worst thing I've ever been called was a parasite to humanity.
oh man.
That's a good conversation. Somebody says, "What's the worst thing you've ever been called?" And you're like, "Well, I've been called a parasite to humanity." And they'll be like, "Oh, okay." They'll be like, "We got to be careful with this guy because we don't know what he's doing to elicit that sort of feeling about it." So then now, so you quit your job, right? You quit your job before. Just
Yes, I
curious.
did.
When you quit your job, and that's a bit of a leap of faith for you to take and
Absolutely.
quit your job. Is it because you felt that, man, this is the direction that I want to go in. I want to make wholesaling work for me, and you had to
That's
kind
right.
of put your all your chips in on the table. Is that kind of the mindset that you had around it?
Yes, that was my mindset. I'm not telling everybody to go quit their
Yeah,
job, please, please. Just, but just like for me, I was in a good financial situation. I have money saved up,
got it.
but I said, you know what? I would rather do something different.
Okay. What were you doing before? I don't know if I.
Yeah, I was doing IT.
Let's talk about what you're doing now. So you got this first deal. Now you have to get to your second and third deal, right? So my question to you would be, and this is just for me to maybe for me to try to help you on this call. What do you see as an obstacle for you right now to to get to your next set of deals, your second and third deal close? Where now, like what's standing in your way of that? What do you think?
Well, I mean, right now I do have another property that's currently under contract
Okay,
in Victoria, Texas. So I'm working that properly and trying to get a buyer for that.
okay,
I had to get a price. I had to get a price reduction on that on the property, but the seller was pretty cool with it, and I explained to him everything what's going on.
right,
Um, I want to get a couple more deals, of course, obviously, but I also want to also upgrade once I get a couple more deals to do the PPC, the pay per click
got
with the
it.
Google Ads.
Yeah,
After I do that, then I also want to start like systems like Investor Lift. Some
got
people
it.
may not know this. Investor Lift is pretty pricey.
Yeah.
It's pretty pricey. And that's, oh man, thank God you guys are providing me Investor Lift, Chris.
Yeah,
With
because we provide
helping
the
out.
buyers list from there, but because
Yeah. Oh
initially
man.
it's a big investment, right? So you want to be able to
Yeah,
get
it's a
some
big
deals.
investment.
Yeah. Now, what do
Yeah.
you are you still using Trello as your CRM?
Yeah, I still use Trello as
Okay.
my CRM. I think that works perfectly fine. I know some people like Propelio, and some people do different things, but whatever works for you.
The only
I
thing I
got.
would recommend is okay. Now that you got your first deal, is
Yeah.
we use internally Follow Up Boss, right? And a single user with a phone number, right, is $69.
Mm.
And so you don't need, they charge extra if you want to record the phone calls, right? We do it internally, but if it's just you, you don't need to record your calls. And so for $69, you'll get, the way that system works is that if it's just one user, then it's cheap. If you start to add like user number two and three, then it gets pricey because they either have two different pricing structures, a single user, or they really want you to get 10 users and pay like $500 a month. You don't need that, right? We have the big version. But for
Right.
you, the one thing I would consider maybe as an investment would be the CRM. You can have the leads come in, even if, regardless if you're using lead forms or a landing page, you can have, with Zapier, you can bring those leads into Follow Up Boss. And then you can set it up
Mm.
so that the minute the lead comes in, you can do one automated text, right? After that, you can still one automated text, and then you could do an unlimited amount of automated emails. But then now, as you're going back and forth and texting with the sellers, it's all internal on the app. So you can sit on your computer and be texting back and forth with the seller. If the seller texts back, it all goes into their record, right? So you can look at their record, and then you can click on a button and then be able to make outbound calls from that. So it'll just help and streamline like what you're doing now without adding too
Mm.
much complexity. That's the only thing that maybe I would consider. And if you reach out to Gene. We have a thing that we can give you where we show you how we set it up on our end, right?
Okay.
But that's it. That's the one thing maybe I would consider. It's not that
Oh,
expensive,
absolutely.
but I think it'll
Absolutely.
help you make be more efficient. I like with your lead follow ups and everything else. That's the one thing I was thinking about for you. You want to get your second and third deal, and then you have the CRM function, functionality. Everything is nicely organized. Then you're going to add in PPC, which I agree on. There's more than enough. I think you're doing the right thing by staying off PPC for now, because PPC will take your money if you don't know how to operate it, and then it's going to end up wasting your time because if you could focus on Facebook, we're also generating leads. I mentioned to you about Brian, he's doing an interview with me tomorrow. He's knocked down a bunch of deals, made over 50K, all from Facebook. So there's definitely more than meat on the bone on Facebook. So I would get that really humming along, because then eventually, if you have Follow Up Boss, a CRM, if you want to bring in somebody else to help you in the business, right? Because now you're
Mhm.
producing income, you maybe need some additional help. It's easy to add them into Follow Up Boss, right? So it's just
Nice.
easier to streamline them in. Do you have a goal in terms of like right now it's June, right? We're coming into
Yeah.
halfway through the year. Do you have a goal in mind in terms of how much money you want to make between now and the end of the
Um,
year?
Absolutely. I at least want to make 100K. minimum.
Okay.
And then after that, after 100K, I want to do 250. After 250, I want to do
Right.
500.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the way you
I
have to
already had
look
that.
at it, if you think about it, you have to just look at it as a math problem, meaning that if let's say for example, if what's your cost per lead right now?
$22.
So if you're spending, let's say $22 a lead, and this isn't exact, but just on your gut feeling, how many leads do you think it would take on average, if you have to average it out based on what you know now and your experience, how many leads in order to get a deal?
I'd say roughly maybe 25 to 30 deals.
20, 25 to
I'm
30 leads?
30, excuse me. Yeah,
Okay. So I'll
yeah,
make it more. Let's say hypothetically, I'm going to bump that number up. So let's say it takes you 50 leads to get a deal,
all
right?
right. Yep.
And then you're paying $20 a lead, so that's $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? This deal was a pretty big one, right? 27K. Not every deal is going to
Yeah.
be 27K, but let's say that you're looking at, I mean, what's maybe let's pick a number. We could say that on average you want to be making say $15,000 a deal, right? Some are going to be
Yeah.
less, and then every so often you'll have a nice big one that'll bring that up. So then that means that 15,000, say 100,000 divided by 15,000 is 6 deals, 6.666. So let's say 7 deals. You need 7 deals, right? So then, if you need 7 deals, that means that you multiply that by 50 leads. So you need to generate 350 leads, right? Between now and the end of the year. And so then now, if you think about it, 350 divided by 6, so that's an average of 58 leads a month that you need, right? On average.
Right.
So that's the way I would look at it. Like in other words, if you're looking at your lead generation, is okay. Do you know that right now we're in June, so technically the beginning of the year, but every month you need to generate. And actually, if you think about it, let's think about cash collected. If you wanted to collect 100,000 between now and the end of the year, you actually have to do it in 5 months, right? Because if you do a
For
deal,
sure.
and in order for it to close, so if you wanted to be more aggressive, you take the 350 divided by 5 months, and you get 70 leads. So that means on average that you got to spend, where you're at, $1,400 a month in order to get those number of leads, right? And I say that
Mhm.
because, like, let's say, for example, if that's your goal, but maybe your campaign is running, humming along, but you're only generating 30 leads or 35 or 40, then unless your numbers end up being better than 50, then you're not going to be able to meet the goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the other thing to think about is that keeping track of your numbers, like you should be keeping track of, okay, how many leads you generate, because then you want to know for you, because everybody's different, right? So somebody new might need more leads. So let's say for you, you might, as you keep track of your leads and you start, and you're doing these deals, then you want to know, like, okay, what is my cost per lead and my cost per acquisition? Because then once you know your cost per acquisition, then you just reverse engineer it. And so that's the only thing is for you, like, having a target number of leads that you're going to generate every month, and then you have the money, right, to advertise because you made money from that deal, and you have the skills, right? So that's not a problem. And just being confident, right? Because sometimes when you put money out in advertising, you could be a little timid and say, "Well, I don't know if it's going to work out," but you know now, like everything is proven for you. Like you know that the leads are good. You know that you have the capability. You can be on the phone, etc. Now it's just you like working the numbers. And I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it. Nothing would make me happier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely trying to, I'm always trying to stay confident and just always want to just
Yeah.
say, you know what? If you don't ask for, if you don't make these offers, then you can't play
Yeah.
the game. You gotta always make these offers and keep moving and try to get the homes under contract.
Because the other thing is this, like, then you get to a point where you're like, man, I want to do more deals per month, right? I want to do more
Uh,
deals, and you need to generate more leads, but you can only handle so much. And that's where then you start thinking about, okay, well, I might need some help in order to help me with that, right? You're not at that stage yet. To me, the things I would focus on is because also too the reason I mentioned the CRM is because if you're going to increase your lead flow, Trello works great up to a certain level, but then it gets messy. Like when we started, we put you on Trello because we wanted to eliminate any and all tech. We wanted to just make sure that you focus on speaking with sellers and you got that down pat. But as you increase the number of leads, there the likelihood of things will fall through the cracks increases without a system that is designed around that. That's why I think that whether it be Follow Up Boss, and I mentioned only Follow Up Boss because that's what we use. So if you needed help, we can help you with that. But you can pick any system. But I think an investment in a CRM that no crazy, like you don't need a CRM that costs you $500 a month, right? You just need something $99 or less per month is good enough, and just so that way you can start kind of working, a place where as you increase your lead flow, you're going to have a place that you'll be able to keep track of everything. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
And then in terms of anything else, I mean, I wouldn't, I would still try to keep things as simple as possible. Outside of the CRM, your objective is generating leads and trying to get to that third deal close, right? By the time you get to your third deal close, you'll be able to do a calculation and know, okay, how many leads I generated to get that deal closed. And then you have 3 assignments, so you can kind of now engineer and see, okay, here's what my average assignment is. And then you can always adjust the numbers. If the numbers are worse or better. But uh, I don't think 100,000 between now and the end of the year is not unreasonable, at all in any way, and I think you could do it. And at a worst case, but I would be like the way I am. I'd be like, hey, maybe I can get that by September or October, right? Really push hard during the summer, and then now you have to reverse engineer the goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that for
So
sure.
I know you can do it. I know you can do it.
Yeah. Also, too, another thing I just wanted to say too. It's not just wholesaling you're actually teaching us. You're also teaching us advertisement as well too.
Yes. Yes.
So when you start getting really good in learning how to like set up leads, you can start just making that as a business towards marketing for other people.
You
Other
had a
people's.
friend. Weren't you doing that for somebody?
I'm gonna get started. I'm just waiting on him. I need him
Got it.
to
Yeah.
kind. Yeah, it was the one who kind of put me onto you,
Yes.
cause yeah. So he's always looking for deals, and I told him, I said, listen, we can make an arrangement, either I get some profit back at the end,
Yeah.
of closing of the deal, or you set up some like a monthly type of fee where I'll run the ads. If you want me to call, we can, you know, do
Yeah,
something
because
different.
now you're effectively you're like kind of the rainmaker because you know ads, right? They don't know ads, right? And it's just they don't know ads. I'm sure and that's not a negative on your friend, right? It's just that
Yeah,
he's
it's
busy.
not even that it's just the time
Yeah,
because he's trying to do these flips and
yeah.
so
And so then now you can do that, and then you can either do it. There's a guy you didn't meet him. He came in on he was on a previous group of students before you, but it was funny because we helped him get his first couple deals, and then he realized that man I don't like to talk to sellers that much. So now he's working with like 2 or 3 investors that he's running ads for, and he's doing a deal split with them. And so then
nice.
now he's doing that, right? And I don't know if I told you, but we recently brought on 5 acquisitions people on our
Oh, I
side.
did not know that.
Yeah, with Gene. And so it's the same scenario. Like we're running the ads, we have the infrastructure in place and everything else. They're coming in under our umbrella and doing the deals, and it's a win-win, right? It's a win-win for everybody. So and the other
Nice.
thing is that now that you once again stay with Facebook. Once you know Facebook, then Google becomes a little bit easier, right? Because the language is the same, right? You know what CPM is, you know what all the terms are, and then if you wanted to do something else, you wanted to try TikTok ads, but the TikTok ads interface is very similar because they just copied Facebook's interface. So
Really?
now you can do that. Like I think it opens the doors for other things that you can do. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great point. I would at least. Here's the thing. I don't. I would at least try that with your friend. Work out a deal with him, because and the best deal, especially if you know him, and you know like hey he's gonna follow up on the leads. He's not gonna be a flake or anything like that. Your best bet is to work out a deal where it's a win-win for both of you, right? And I like using even if you get a percentage of the deal, you work it out with him so that he doesn't see you. Because let's say, for example, you said, hey, I'll do a percentage of the deal, and let's say you wanted like 70% of the deal, right, and him only 30. Well, he might get you started, but at the end, he's looking to get you out of the picture, right? Because it's too much money per month, right? It's like I have a
Right.
couple friends that buy into businesses, and they're like, I like to buy in at a percentage where it's not a big, it's good for me, but it's not so big for them that they're looking to get me out of their house as soon as possible, right?
Right.
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 It's like a guest that stays too long at the house. You're like, man, we got to get this person out of here because they're eating all our food, and we're not going to have anything to eat, right? But I would definitely do it. You definitely have the capabilities now to do it, and I would definitely do it. Because you can get the results. But I love to get an update from you again.
Oh, you'll definitely hear
Um,
an update, and I'm gonna try to stay more active on the Facebook group too
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And like I said, I'm going to be up in New York, so I definitely want you to message me, and it'd be great for us to meet in person after all this time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hopefully
Yeah.
that doesn't ruin the relationship.
Absolutely. We drink some really good tequila, you know?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And for all you guys who don't know, but Chris Chico is a tequila snob,
Oh,
so he only
yes.
drinks the best. He
I
doesn't drink any.
I have enough. And this weekend I went out. We went to this restaurant, and they had some tequila drink. It was a Japanese restaurant. They made this amazing drink, and I actually went to the bartender, and I'm like, "Look, I just want to go home and try to replicate this drink." And I sat with her on the bar, and she walked me through the whole recipe. And then now I'm excited. This weekend I'm going to try to make it. I got to go to the Asian store to get all the ingredients and everything else. Last question is for anybody that. I guess the question is, you got involved with the course, and then you were considering before you joined the intensive, right? There's whenever you join a program, that requires an investment, in time and money. There's always there's always a hesitation, right? What
There
would you
is.
say, like, when you were thinking about it, you were kind of on the fence. What were the things that you were thinking, like, that you're afraid of, like, on the negative side, like, okay, what was going through your head about, like, when you were thinking about doing it or not doing it?
Yeah, I said, this is gonna go through everybody's head. What if I don't get my first deal? That's definitely one of the things that goes through your head.
Yeah,
I pay for a course, and I'm in this training program. I don't get my first deal. It's like almost like we're setting up like these type of barriers for yourself.
right.
Just you gotta just take action. Just kind of have to kind of go. You just have to kind of go with it. Like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it this way. These guys are the experts. They're here to guide me through some of these questions and kind of help me out with these deals. And it just makes it easier.
Kind of
But
like that
just don't.
fear, right? The fear of,
Yeah,
hey, I wonder, I'm gonna invest this money, and then I'm not gonna be able to get anything out of it.
yeah. I'm telling you, like, whether you do intensive or you're just going through the regular program, it's everything. It's like you're like, oh man, now I got this deal under contract. How am I gonna explain to these buyers? Are they gonna think like I'm some type of joker trying to
Right.
sell this type of deal? Like, no, you gotta have that confidence, and it's like just like break all those walls down, like those all those fear walls, and I'm telling you, it gets easy. And plus, just off my first deal, I get like 5 different buyers that still contact me,
Because
just
they want more
wanting
deals. Yeah.
just like when I sent them, like, if you have a deal like this, please
Yeah.
send it to us. We want to buy these deals. So that's why I'm gonna be making just a Southern California
Campaign.
Facebook campaign
Yeah.
marketing those areas because I have buyers. They want to buy, like,
Yeah.
every day. Like, even while we're talking, I got some type of weird texting. Hey, want to know if you have any deals.
Yeah. Because
So
they're
there's
hungry.
people that out there. If you can get a property, an off market property, for the right price, you can wholesale it to a buyer. There are people
Well,
that were looking for deals.
what's interesting about what you just said is that also, everybody's talking about the economy and how, like, oh my God, I wonder what's going to happen. But there's money flowing, even in any economy, or even in a recession, there's money flowing. And so there's people out there looking for deals right now as he's getting text messages. So the opportunity is always there, right, to make money. What would you say, just curious, what would you say if somebody is thinking about like, hey, joining the program and is kind of on the fence about it, and just any, what would you say to them in terms of like, should they, if somebody's on the fence and say, Coach Sherman, I'm thinking about joining this program, but I'm on the fence, I'm not really sure, I'm scared, what would you say to them?
First, I'd have to ask them. I said, "Are you not sure of yourself?"
Mm,
The reason why I say that because I can tell you one thing: Chris's team works hard for trying to get you at least one deal.
right.
They will, and they'll go as far as if there's two, three, four deals, they'll go as far as it needs to be taken. But you got to be you have to be the one that has to kind of take that step.
Yeah.
So you got to say, you know what, I gotta get out of my comfort zone. In order to be somewhere that I've never been before, I have to be willing to do something I've never done before.
Yeah. I'm happy for you. I'm really genuinely just really happy for you because I know how much of an impact the first deal happens. You get that first deal now, you can do it. And
Yeah.
you got another one that you're working on. And then as long as you just play the numbers out, and I know you will, you know, you're going to make a lot of money. I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear the next update. I want the update when you get 100. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
absolutely. Oh, I will definitely do
Yeah.
that. I'll reach out to you guys. I definitely want to keep in contact with Gene. That's my guy, Gene. That's definitely my guy.
Yes. Are you
Gene,
gonna make
Gene.
it down to Florida? And you ever come down to Florida?
August.
Again, really, really excited, and also thank you for giving us, trusting us and giving us the opportunity to help you. It means a lot. We take that seriously, and just genuinely happy, very, very happy. Uh,
Absolutely. I want to let everybody know Chris Chico's a real person. His stories are real. His stories are great. I always tell Chris to he should start up his own podcast, just tell like a story for 45 minutes. His stories are incredible. They're relatable. And,
I might
so
might
he,
do that. It's still
I'm telling you,
talking about it.
Chris,
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like, this guy has a gold mine of stories and experience. I don't know if it's gonna be like the next big thing, but Chris, people are willing to will definitely listen to your stories. It doesn't have to be about wholesale.
Yeah.
Could just be about real estate investing and just in general,
I
and just
appreciate
your
that. I
story.
appreciate that. So it's still fermenting there in the head.
I'm
Um,
telling you.
by the way, guys, if you for those of you that are interested in learning about nationwide wholesaling, there's going to be a video that'll pop up right at the end here. Just click on that video. It will take you to a YouTube video that I have that walks you through the entire model, so that way you can learn and learn more about it and decide if maybe this just might be the thing that you've been looking for. Again, I appreciate everybody being on listening in, and I'll see you in the next one.